By watching this short video, you will be introduced to the relationships in database design, and we will go through some examples of how these relationships work in tables and graphically. There are three types of relationships in database design. A one-to-one relationship, where each row in a table corresponds to 0 or more rows in another table. A one-to-many relationship, where each row of a table corresponds to 0 or more rows in another table. And then finally, a many-to-many relationship, where many rows in a table correspond to 0 or more rows in another table. This is how databases are designed, and we'll just go through a very simple example of Twitter. In Twitter, there's many examples of all of these relationships, but we're just going to go through one example of each relationship so you get a sense of how they work. A one-to-one relationship. Each Twitter user has one profile, and that profile does not belong to any other user. It's just your profile. So there is one user, one profile, and that's it. That's a one-to-one relationship. A one-to-many relationship is where each user has many tweets, and those tweets only belong to that user. A many-to-many relationship is where many users can favorite many tweets. So now we're going to go through some examples of what the tables would look like for this example. So the user table would have a user ID, which is called the primary key, which is the unique identifier for this table, and then an email and password. And in Twitter, there's more things in the user table, but I'm just giving you a stripped down kind of simple version. The profile table, and remember the user and the profile is a one-to-one relationship. The profile would have a profile ID as the primary key. A user ID, which would connect it to this user, is called the foreign key. And then it would have different things in the profile like first name and last name. The tweet table would have a tweet ID, which would again be the primary key. The user ID, which again, that's a foreign key, and then some information about the tweet like the text and the date it was done. And then you have the final table, the favorite table, which is used for the many-to-many relationship, has no primary key. It has a compository primary key of these two foreign keys, the user ID and the tweet ID. So let's go through some graphical representations so you get a better sense of how this works. One-to-one relationship is the most simple. Each user has one profile, and that profile belongs to one user. The primary key, PK, primary key of user ID connects as a foreign key to the user ID. A one-to-many relationship, each user has many tweets, and those tweets belong just to that user. You again have the user with the user ID, and then the tweets each have a user ID in them, which is the foreign key, and then the primary key is the tweet ID. And you can see that one user can have many tweets. Finally, the many-to-many relationship uses what we call intersection tables. And so you see you have the user table with the user ID, and then the intersection table, the favorite table, has the two foreign keys, which are primary keys on these two tables. So as you can see, this user has two favorites, and those favorites are associated with these tweets over here. And this user has the same thing. Favorite, and another favorite that goes with both these two tweets. So many users can favorite many tweets. Anytime you have a many-to-many relationship, you need these intersection tables. Those are the three relationships that we use in database design.